All right, everybody, we're here. Regular Talk. We have returned once again for another podcast. We've had many of names on this podcast, ranging from mod developers to real wrestlers, and we continue that once again with Mr. Scooter. I'm not going to give out your whole name. You can do that if you want, but I have a little bit of anonymity right there for you.
Yeah, we're keeping the kayfabe alive.
Of course, it's me. Everybody's well-known VTECHGUY, Bolt, Dominic, what do you want to call me? We have Shane and Chris with us today also. So,
Yes.
Hello.
Scooter, you don't realize this, but our little friend group has been watching your videos collectively. It is like, when you get
religiously.
you get your friends together and you watch, like WWE, you watch WrestleMania together, you just have a party. It is almost like that because you get a notification, and YouTube is very finicky because it's like one of us might get the notification and the other one might not, so we have to warn each other.
So then one of us, whoever gets the notification first, just texts everybody.
Which is usually me.
And we've been doing this for months, like before the summer, basically, to put this in perspective. We weren't like early in January when you made the channel, from what it seems like, but probably somewhere around like June or July.
I was gonna say it was early summer,
and then things really start kicking off.
Yeah, it really did.
So like, what has it been like for you? Because I know at some point you built a ring, right? Did you buy this, or I think you built this, right?
No, I bought the ring from some people, and they shipped it to my job, and I picked it up there, and then I had to assemble it.
Man, so are you a handyman? Because I know you work at like a Flying J's, right? So is that with maintenance?
Yeah.
I guess that works out.
good deal. That definitely helps you out in the whole setting up the ring. You didn't have to pay anybody to do it for you.
No, and it was really hard to set up the ring because where I set up at, in my backyard there was no level ground, and I just had to do the best I could.
Well, yeah, you even got the steel cage built too.
Oh yeah, that's
like
definitely cool. That's definitely cool. Just
the steel cage is definitely a very unique thing. You don't see that a ton in I've seen it in a couple of these more backyard promotions, but you don't see that very often in those and it's a very nice touch.
I'm still running on that roof too.
Well, I see where GTS they has a steel cage, but the difference between us and them is that I keep mine up in every match, and I'm never going to take it down, And
that's a good concept. Yeah, I'm good buddies with Grim.
Yeah, I mean he seems like a nice guy and all, and I do watch his videos as well, and like I'm the only one that has an entrance ramp, I have like the curtain you
I know,
walk
I
through.
like
That's
that.
definitely
It's
cool.
really cool.
Yeah.
I like that. Have you talked about incorporating fireworks and theme songs?
We do play some theme songs. We play that death song.
Yeah.
And then sometimes we play Lay Me Down by the River. These are just some of the songs that I like, and I play them. But right now, my laptop is dead, so we have to get a new battery for it. Probably going to get that Monday, and then because today was our Survivor pay-per-view, and we had to split it in two parts, because before with the laptop we could just do one long one, but now we can't since we're using my cell phone.
It's probably really costly too, because if you think about it this way, it's such a long-term build to be able to get monetized and make money off of YouTube. So it's like an endless cash cow of you gotta buy the ring, gotta get parts for the cage, you gotta ramp, you gotta put time into it, and then on top of that you're dealing with the whole Jacob situation and finding people to wrestle. We'll dive more into that in a few, but it's probably really costly, isn't it?
Everybody thinks that doing this backyard wrestling is cheap. People, please understand there's nothing cheap about this. I mean, everything about it costs money. You gotta buy the ring came, right? And then
Mhm.
you had to buy the wood. You got to buy the pad. And the mine didn't come with the padding, so I had to go to a Home Depot or a Lowe's, I can't remember, and I had to buy pads, and it costs a lot of money, and it ain't easy to do either.
Have you had to do any replacing on the ring, like replacing boards or any of that? Yeah.
Turnbuckles.
No. The way we got it set up, we won't never have to because I bought all treated wood in the beginning.
Oh,
So-
that's perfect. That's a smart
Nice.
move.
Yeah.
That's a
'cause
smart. That's a planning ahead move.
speaking
if
from
you-
experience.
Yeah, if you
Good.
ever buy a wrestling ring, get the treated wood. Don't go and buy the plain. Just go ahead and pay the extra money and get the treated wood.
Yeah, because it's always like a wear and tear on the wood. I've
Especially keeping it outside in general.
yeah. One ring that I helped set up, one of the pieces of the woods had like rotten, and we had to duct tape it.
The wood?
Yeah,
It's definitely got some maintenance to it. Yeah.
Dang.
yeah. It's always best to just buy treated wood and just be done with it.
While we're on the topic of the ring, have you ever given any thought on? Because I know it's a 10x10. Have you ever given thought to upgrading like the size? Because I know a 10x10 can be pretty tricky to walk in with the little space.
Actually, we're not going to update it because we have our reasons for getting that ring. The reason is when it's 10x10,
Mhm.
the action is constantly going. Whenever you like the WWE, they have a 22, I think, or a 20.
It's a 20x20, yeah.
And it takes more energy to run around that whole ring,
Mhm.
Where
Oh yeah, you'll get gassed
Right,
up.
I
running
can
around
definitely
the
get
mat.
behind that. Yeah. Okay.
and that's why we went with a 10x10 because we can have longer matches with it being 10x10 than 20x20.
You won't
So-
blow yourself up doing that.
I like
Exactly.
that. I like that. All right.
And that's what the whole reason why we got the 10x10 was so that we can have longer matches. Because if you have a 20x20, by 5 or 10 minutes, you're going to be poofed,
Oh yeah.
And-
Yeah.
That's why we can go 30 and 40 minutes where other people have a 20 and they can go maybe 5 or 10 minutes,
Well, whose decision was it, or what brought it to? Because you guys had the trampoline before, also. You guys recently took that down, you and Jacob. Was there a tear with it, or?
The issue was that it started when I threw the brick and I hit the bear and it ripped
Oh.
Okay.
the thing. And as time went on, we kept wrestling on it, and the hole kept getting bigger and bigger. And one time, my foot really went through it, and for safety concerns, we had to just take it down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Have you gotten injured a bit while wrestling?
In backyard wrestling, it always hurt when you do a wrestling move. It don't matter if you're doing it to your opponent or if they're doing it to you. You always get hurt a little bit in doing these moves. So that's why I tell people, there's always a price you're going to pay for making these videos, and I pay it every day when I make one, when I can.
So, what would you say the most painful bump you took so far was?
Probably when I jumped off the turnbuckle and I went off and I hit the ground. I don't know if you remember that one or not.
Yeah, I do remember that.
That was the most painful one I ever
I
did. And
bet. I bet.
I wasn't too fond of it, but I did it because, people were sitting at home wanting to see stuff like that.
It's a moment, yeah.
Yeah, it's.
What do you think?
Go ahead.
What do you think does better, in your opinion, the wrestling matches or the stuff like in between, from your point of view?
Well,
Like the
from
storylines.
Yeah, storylines, feuds.
Well, it just depends how you do them. I mean, like me, I get more views on YouTube when I do my wrestling in the ring than I do any of my other videos. So I try to do as many videos as I can in the wrestling ring as possible.
So I have the channel pulled up here, and looking at like the statistics, some of the biggest views you have, so the biggest one is like just a normal one of you and Jacob wrestling, about like 400 views. But then after that, there's like the infamous video where he gets grounded. It's your second most biggest video with like almost 300 views, and you guys are shooting the shit literally, and you go into your mom's house and confront her, and a very surreal moment. I think people really like they kind of got like not even just like behind the scenes, like backstage of everything, but just like how it's kind of messed up, your whole infrastructure of having Jacob there as like your side person, with you wrestling. Like what was that day like,
Oh man,
in total?
that day,
So
I just want to go for the record to say none of our stuff is rehearsed.
clearly, yeah.
Oh yeah,
Jacob,
no doubt.
Jacob didn't know nothing about that. That was sort of just something I just blew out of proportion. And
Do you regret it?
no, I don't regret
No
a damn
regrets.
thing I do on my YouTube channel.
Props to you then on that one. I agree with you, Scooter. I don't
Go big or
regret-
go home.
What was
you can't, when you're in the ring and you're trying to get views on YouTube, you have to do whatever it takes to get views, and you can't sit there and feel sorry for yourself for whatever you do, because
yeah,
that's what you got to do. You got to get views, and the more views you get, the more people subscribe to your YouTube channel. So sometimes you just got to do what you got to do, and if it makes other people mad, then
Exactly.
It is.
Jacob was bringing you views.
well, Jacob was also having fun, with you guys wrestling in there. It's a good time spending together. For everyone that doesn't know, it hasn't been addressed, that's your son.
Yeah.
How did he feel about the confrontation with Grandma?
Well, he understood where I was coming from. He said I took it maybe a little bit too far, and I said, no, if I would have took it as far as I wanted to, I would have hit her with a steel chair. So
challenge her to a ladder match.
She's too old, and there's no way that she could even begin to participate in something like this.
Have you
There's
spoke
just
to her
no way.
since that event?
No, not really. No.
Oh,
Jeez.
well, by the way, for this video will come out on Friday, but we're recording this on Wednesday, and in between is Thanksgiving. So I guess we're not gonna see a Thanksgiving Day video with all you guys awkwardly crowded around the table. Like how's your Thanksgiving for tomorrow planned out?
My Thanksgiving is I unfortunately have to go to work and work 5 to about 3 p.m.
Mm-hmm. So you aren't gonna see Jacob or Grandma?
No, I probably won't get to. He'll get to spend Thanksgiving with family, but unfortunately, my job is what keeps my YouTube channel going somewhat, because YouTube found out that people were taking advantage of the system, so they made it now where you gotta have like 1 million watch times and like 1,000 subscribers for you even start getting paid. And people don't realize that until they get into it and they start making these videos trying to get paid, and they're like, oh well, this is going to be tougher than what I thought.
Yeah, it's like the 4K 10K rule. And,
yeah, because before it used to be so easy to get money.
Anyone got paid, actually.
Even I got paid at one point.
But then the 4K 10K rule came along, and networks, and that's not even talking about COPPA, Adpocalypse, all the stuff going on right now or gone on. But back to that day, because I think that day is like everyone kind of wants to know more about that day, because it's shaken everything, because from that day it was
well, I mean, you can even just look at the views of that video compared to everything.
Yeah.
Seeing like there was just like instantly no Jacob for a very long time, and you had to make do. And then he kind of showed up actually here and there for like a little side video, but then he actually got back in the ring like 3 weeks ago. And that video is already like on your top 5 videos, like 150 some views. So, you know,
I've never denied the fact Jacob is one hell of a wrestler. He brings in views, and I told his grandmother that. I said he brings in tons of views every time he comes into the ring. That he's just like that for some reason. He's a very
charismatic.
gifted wrestler.
He's a very beloved character.
Yeah.
Yes, he is.
What's the last conversation you've had with her on just like in general? Like, was it about wrestling, or is it just like, how's your day? Like,
no, we don't. We are on negative speaking terms at this moment.
Man, do you think there's any possibility to make amends?
No chance in hell, as Vince McMahon would say.
Well,
Scooter, the more and more I talk to you, the more and more I like you, because I agree with you on this wholeheartedly. I believe you are totally in the right on all this, honestly.
To play devil's advocate, though, I think it would be beneficial from a point of she's an elderly lady also, and who knows how many years she has left to live. And Jacob's living with her, and I think your daughter too. So it's
no. My daughter went and lived with my sister because of the stuff that was going on, from what I was told. So she just went and lived with my sister, and she no longer stays at my mom's house.
So there's no possibility at all of making amends with her. No Thanksgiving dinner or exchanging of Christmas gifts.
No, that'll be a cold day in hell. I just don't.
You don't think it'll, like, time will pass by and she'll be like, oh, you know.
You can do the old Stone Cold and just fill her car with cement.
No, I honestly, I know you guys like to see Jacob more, but you know, right now it's just he's in school, and and things are just complicated because you know it's wintertime and we lost that hour and it gets dark a lot quicker. By the time I got down there and got him up here to do a video, you know, it would start being dark, you know, and
yeah, that's the worst part about the winter, especially when you're filming outside.
Yes, it really is. The weather has been another reason why we haven't been able to do videos, because it's been very cold, and if I got sick, then we wouldn't be able to make videos. But a lot of time the weather's just been a real nuisance to work with, you know.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Do you travel at all, like out of Alabama?
No, I can no, because if I ever leave Alabama, I would probably never come back. It's a real dump right now.
Feel you on that.
I was just saying in case you did a special somewhere. It's like,
yeah, like the NXT takeovers, you know, like Alabama Backyard Wrestling takes over
Oklahoma,
Louisiana. Yeah,
invade somebody's company,
dude. Invade somebody's backyard. Yeah.
Well, you know, I did watch that whole NXT takeover and all that, and it was okay. And then I watched Survivor Series, and the one thing I don't like, you know, they're coming to SmackDown's coming to Birmingham Friday, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I can't bring myself to buy a ticket to go and watch that crap. I really can't.
What you should do is maybe get some little flyers of your stuff, print it out, and hand it out front. Do some viral marketing.
Or if they let you at work, that too.
Yeah.
I don't know if
conflict of interest. Yeah, that would just be more problems, you know, because you know you go and you start handing out flyers at somebody else's event. You know, that might piss them off. So you know.
That is true. You don't want to get into a legal battle with Vince McMahon.
That pretty much, yeah.
Oh,
that's true, yeah.
So, is there any talks of expanding the merch line for Alabama Backyard Wrestling?
No, at this current time, we tried to sell shirts off of custom ink. I would put links down there, but nobody would ever buy any. And the way custom ink had it was you had to buy like 4 shirts had to get purchased, and if 4 shirts wasn't sold, they wouldn't even send none out. So, but nobody would buy any of our shirts. So I just decided don't even worry about it. It ain't worth the time. So we just pretty much decided that we were not selling no more shirts.
I was gonna say because I saw that you guys had a couple on there, and I didn't know if you guys were talking about expanding that to maybe more shirts or any kind of other merchandise.
No, we have decided to do away with the merchandise at this time.
Let's talk about the wrestlers in
Okay.
Alabama Backyard Wrestling. So there's you, of course. There's Jacob. There's the bear.
Yeah.
I can't remember what the other stuffed animal is. Is it bunny or is it just another bear?
It's Maui Wowie.
Maui Wowie.
Maui Wowie,
And
then the newly debuted Amber.
Yeah, and I'm sure.
Which, by the way, I got the biggest kick out of. By the way,
what was the thought process there? Like, what was the build to? Did you find Amber? Did you? It sounds weird. Like, did you buy her? Like, it sounds like almost human trafficking when you say that. It's kind of weird. But how would you say you acquired the new talent?
Amber off of Amazon, and I said she would be a good wrestler. She did withstand some damages today in our Survivor pay-per-view, but you know that happens. You know, I mean.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, I just hope that some little kid doesn't get too carried away seeing that video. You know.
What? You're not gonna have Jacob wrestle it, are you?
No.
Okay.
Okay, good.
Yeah, I was gonna say maybe.
Just making sure that, especially on YouTube, wouldn't want to see the channel all of a sudden the next day.
Right. Just
disappear because of that.
Terminated, like no.
Have a big whole thing on there. Yeah, so that's like the Mount Rushmore of Alabama Backyard Wrestling. Are you looking to expand or like do tag teams or factions? Like what's you're starting to expand in that way, roster wise, and eventually someone will be interested in Peak, and eventually I think times will work out more for Jacob. I don't know if you have any other family members or neighbors or people interested, but like what's your thought process there, like going forward into 2020?
Well, I do want more people to come and like do this. I honestly do. We had Jacob, that video we made of me and Jacob recently, right?
Mm-hmm.
We were recording these girls. It was Jacob and like 3 other girls wrestling, right? But their mom showed up when we were recording and said, and she had a shit fit about it, about us recording it and all that. So I didn't get to upload it. I had to delete it because her mom was saying, I don't want you to post this video on YouTube and yada, yada, yada. And I said, okay, I'll delete it. And so we had to, and it probably would have got a ton of views, but they were teenagers. So, and I didn't have their parents' permission to post it because they were under the age of 18. So, yeah.
Yeah, definitely want to get in trouble with that one, aside from liability for him also. But tag teams, factions. What do you think in that regard? Like, are we gonna see a faction with Amber and Maui Wowie and the bear? Like, we see like a turn? Like, what are you thinking there? Not to like reveal everything, but like, what's the thought process?
Well, the thing is, like I said, I don't really know what's gonna happen with. I know Amber, she's a nice girl, she's all right, but as far as if we told you that, that would be another way of saying that we rehearse our videos, and we don't do that here. So I can't really tell you what's going to go ahead, because that would mean we would have to rehearse it, and we don't rehearse here. So I really can't answer that, to be honest with you, because we make our videos that day and we never know what's going to happen. So I couldn't tell you that.
The mask you have, by the way,
Yes.
like the horror mask, kind of like the Fiend.
Yeah.
What exactly is that, and where'd you get it? I've never seen that actually before. I thought it was unique.
I bought it at some Halloween store that's over here by the Logans, and it was for our pay-per-view, and yeah.
Nice. And would you just say that's a part of the Scooter character or something like?
No, that was just strictly for that pay-per-view.
Speaking of the Scooter character, where did the Scooter name come from?
Somebody, they just people started calling me that because I do own a 50cc scooter.
Oh, that's
Nice.
cool.
I know you were trying to get Jacob a scooter also. Was it like planning to give him that one or just a whole new one, or what? Like a passing of the torch?
No, I told him that if he wanted a scooter or any kind of bike, that he's going to have to earn the money to get it. You know, I'm not going to go out and buy him a bike. You know, if I wasn't going to do that. I told him if he wants a bike, you're going to have to go out there, earn the money, and buy yourself a bike. I'm not going to give you the money to buy one.
Yeah, all the hard work there. I mean, you're already putting it in, with Alabama Backyard Wrestling and losing money. Technically, if you think about it that way, because of how much stuff. Speaking more on losing money, you ever think about like buying like a bodysuit or like a full suit to wrestle in also?
No, this is backyard wrestling, man. I mean, this ain't like the WWE and WCW and AEW. You just go out there what you're wearing in your regular clothes, and you go out there and you put on one hell of a show, and you hope that the fans like it.
Yeah, for sure. Go give your opponent that Alabama ass whooping.
Well,
Alabama's job, dude.
I wasn't talking like in the Saudi shows when they have the women in the full body suit. I was thinking more of like if you ever seen the wrestler like Suicide or La Parka, kind of like that, where it's like a different character, so you could like add that onto like the roster essentially, so it's not always Scooter versus the Bear or Maui Wally or Amber, but it could be you portraying this other persona against them also. And then eventually, shoot, you could have two of them face off like Sin Cara, and Jacob could be under one of them,
Yeah, I always think about doing stuff like that, but, then you start, it's hard to, stay in character when you're trying to manipulate, like, too, because you got to say, oh, well, I was Scooter, and then I got to be this guy, and then you might be doing your show, and then part of the Scooter might slip out. So I try to just keep it to basically Scooter if I can.
Understandable there in that regard.
Yeah.
For reaching out to other wrestlers, like have you heard anything back?
Oh, you mean between other wrestlers? No, I haven't heard from no other wrestlers or any other wrestling programs. I don't really talk to any of them, but if they wanted to get in contact with me, they could.
Have you had any offers?
Some guy asked me to go. I remember some guy messaged me and said, "Hey, come up to New York, blah blah blah." And I said, "I ain't going up there. It's too cold. It's just
Especially this time of year too.
Jesus.
You'll get same with leaving Alabama. You'll get stuck there. You don't get a choice to come back. You'll stay in there for a while.
Yeah, I mean, I like Alabama. The weather sometimes can adjust from from one day to the next. It can be different altogether, and but it is what it is.
You ever just get in the ring and think about like just cutting a promo and having you had a rough day or air out some anger,
Yeah, just like
Yeah, just
full,
vent in the ring a little
because
bit.
there's a lot of
full
in ring
complete
action
pipe
too,
bomb, CM Punk
but
style.
I think people really love like to hear you talk also and just see like let out that anger, especially in the
Yeah,
video with you and Jacob when you confronted Grandma, and
yeah,
I
that
think there's
was
one where you guys
intense.
were just
Yeah,
talking out in the woods, like stuff when you're just letting it all out. I think those do really well also, and people kind of learn more about you. Um, you know, you ever think about doing that inside the ring or in a secluded forest or wherever?
Well, I've been thinking about it, and I know a lot of people wanted us to do that buried alive match, and we were gonna do one, but it was just too many complications kept arising, and like we were gonna do it, but I kept looking at the forecast and it said rain, and so I just said, "There's no way we're gonna be able to pull this off." But yeah, I mean, we do promos sometimes in the middle of our matches, and and sometimes we'll do them after them. You just
I've actually caught that. Yeah, especially the video that you uploaded today.
yeah.
Where
Yeah, the
you were
Survivor pay
trash
per view.
talking him, but that was great,
What
dude.
was it? It was welcome to Alabama.
Yeah,
Welcome to Alabama, bitch, or something like that.
I popped for that. That was great.
I think
Yep.
everybody was geeking out on that one.
Oh yeah, good stuff.
We try to do them before or in the middle or after our matches because that's when people are watching the matches. I mean,
Oh yeah.
that's the best thing I honestly think is to do it, not just to do a video and do one because everybody's going to like yell whatever and they're going to go to sleep and they're going to fast forward do it. But that's why I have discovered it's best to just do them during the match so people can watch hear it.
True, true.
Yeah, yeah.
So we gotta get a little personal here on this one. Um,
Okay.
what is your age, by the way? Because that's been a big curiosity with people.
Yeah.
Because like wanted to know, would you ever take go into like a wrestling school? Like, would that ever be a thing to like pursue going into other wrestling companies and like expanding out that way and making yourself a name and going into other regions? You know.
I've been asking myself that same question, too, but
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to go to a wrestling school because that's
Money
just
or.
not me.
Mhm.
But yeah, I am 40. I'm 40 years old, but yeah.
Do you think that like hinders you at all wrestling compared to Jacob being so young, or
Oh
do you think
no.
you could
Oh
just
no.
take it? I mean, we've seen you do some flying elbow drops and stuff
Oh,
too.
well,
Yeah,
I was gonna
so
say DDP didn't start until he was 35.
yeah,
I'd say there's definitely not
He's
a
one of the best of all time.
the boogeyman didn't start until he was like 40 or 40 something. I said it's never too late. It's just a matter of putting it in for the training.
Yeah, I mean it's good, but my thing is I don't want to go with anybody else. I got my own promo thing going here, and I don't want to work for nobody else's because then I would have to follow their rules, and I'm not good at following rules.
I
So,
feel you on that
Yeah,
one.
definitely,
I could definitely feel you on that one.
so that's why I pretty
Yeah.
much just stick with my own thing, so I can do what I want, and I don't have to answer to nobody.
What about Jacob then? Do you know if Jacob wants to get into actual training to get into the business?
I hope one day that he will, but I'm sure he will at some point in time, but
Yeah,
I just don't know when.
yeah, because like you said,
Is
like
he still
he's got
doing the
talent.
school wrestling?
I don't even know if he ever got into that or not, to be honest with you.
Because I know that during that video you had mentioned something to
Yeah.
your mom about the fact that she was going to let him do that wrestling, but she won't let him do your wrestling.
Yeah, I don't think that he ever did it, but well, he really doesn't have time, but to be honest with you right now, because he does the Boy Scouts and he does school and he has to do homework and he has to go to church and all this other baloney stuff. But which I think going to church is all right, I guess, for the right reasons. But I just don't have time for it myself.
Mhm.
But yeah.
Yeah, because it's like you said, you know, the kid's got talent, so, you know, it'd be a shame, you know, for it to go to race to him, you know, not getting into training and, you know.
Yeah, it was a hell of an elbow
Yeah,
drop he did
yeah.
across the ring. I remember I was watching the video. Well, not I.
Yeah.
We were all watching the video together on Skype, actually, as we normally do. And everyone's
Right.
sitting around there, and we see him. He goes to the top rope, and there's this girl in the background. There's a friend
Oh,
of his or
yeah.
something. And he goes to the top, and he's trying to do what you did, and then he does it. And I remember you tell him, you're like, not like that. And then he goes to do it again, and the second time he does it, it's just flawless. It's beautiful.
Yeah.
Like one
Beautiful,
like
beautiful, yeah.
yeah, great elbow drop on the bear,
Well-
and it was funny because I think he was like, ah, it hurt that time or something like that.
Yeah.
I remember that.
Well, the girl in the background, we need to talk about her. She,
Good or bad?
This is gonna no. This you know it's gonna be good when he starts it off with "We need to talk about it." You know it's gonna be good.
this
Go ahead.
girl, this girl was a friend of Jacob's, right?
Mhm.
And this video got more views than anything. It was when I was over there trying to put it on the apron, and he was spilling his guts to the laptop, but he didn't know the laptop was still recording.
Oh, it was the same girl.
And,
Yeah.
Oh, natural, dude.
and they got about 400. I think it's near 300 or 400 views now. I'm not really sure, but yeah, that's the girl that he was talking to when I was putting the tarp down on the ring. But yeah, she is a very nice girl.
Girlfriend or just friend?
They're just friends at this
Yeah.
current time.
I will have to ask him that.
Maybe
if
that'll
we
ch-
ever-
I said
if we
maybe
ever hear
that'll
from
change.
him. Yeah, if we ever hear from him, we'll have to ask him. So,
Oh yeah,
but
definitely.
we'll save that one for if we ever talk to him.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that definitely needs to be a Jacob episode. That'd be great.
We need to talk editing and like production, by the way, because we've seen before we had like a lightning bolt and firebolt, specifically more on like bigger events. But you said with the what's up with the laptop, you couldn't do that. Do you do that with like Windows Movie Maker, or do you have like any editing program on there, or do you use like the YouTube Studio? Like how do you do that?
When I bought the computer, it came with a video editor already in it,
Mhm.
and so that's what we pretty much use. We put titles on our videos, and then I can do some stuff to a certain point, but I don't get too carried away with it, when I do use it.
Fair enough. Yeah.
Less is more. So yeah.
Yeah, that's true. What's the next pay-per-view name? Have you already decided that? I imagine it'll probably be something Christmas themed, right?
Well, I think the next we try to do our pay-per-views a day before or after, but like I said, we were trying to do the Buried Alive match, and things didn't go to plan. But I think the next one is tables, ladders, and chairs, and
Mhm.
we got to come up for a name for that pay-per-view, But the thing is, we don't have tables, ladders, and chairs, so I don't know what we're gonna do, because that costs money to buy that stuff,
Oh yeah.
and
They're not cheap.
I don't know. You get something like bears, scares, and tears. I don't know. Yeah, with the bear
Hey.
ripping it. So you come up with
yeah,
something.
the bear got it pretty bad today, and
Oh, I saw.
yeah, he got lacerated pretty bad. Stuffing was flying out of him pretty badly.
Do you stitch him
but
up
yeah.
or
Is he
tape him up or what's?
recuperating? All right.
He's in my room. He's gonna have to have surgery at this
Oh.
point. We're gonna have to try to zip time up if we can again.
It's rough business, dude.
Well, it's rough for him, but he's been with us for a very long time, as you know, and
The future
He
Hall of
had-
Famer, literally.
A veteran. I like it.
yeah, he has taken many beatings, especially when we had the garden fence up and we did the seven steel cage battles, and the seventh one we were gonna destroy around the whole thing, but
Mhm.
we had an issue come up, so
Mm.
we wasn't able to destroy but the 2 or 3 sides, I believe.
Speaking of the ring
Spe-
and stuff, have you ever got
Speaking of that,
complaints?
oh,
I'll let you go after this one. Have you ever got complaints, by the way? Like people
Any
in
complaints?
people in the area, um, because it is your property though. But yeah, has anyone ever been like, "Hey, this guy's out here wrestling, causing ruckus, being loud, or something odd"? Like, has that ever
Uh,
appeared?
no, because
So,
we do our backyard wrestling during the daytime, during the afternoon, and we try to have it. We try to do it at decent times. We don't do it at night. Um, we try to do it when everybody's away, so that it ain't an issue for nobody. But my neighbors are pretty chill. They don't really say too much to me about it.
that's
You
nice.
should invite them over. Tell them if they can get in the ring anytime they want.
Uh,
What'd you have on your mind, by the way, Shane? Sorry
oh
for cutting
yeah.
you off.
We were talking about the bear being with you, for a long time and everything, and just like months of wear and tear and everything. Have you ever considered like at some point doing a sort of a Hall of Fame type thing, for the, just a Hall of Fame?
well, we don't really have no Hall of Famers. I mean, we've only been doing this for a while now, and
Not sure. Yeah.
we don't really have nobody that's gonna retire anytime soon.
Oh, that's good. That
Yeah, that's a good way of looking at it too.
yeah, yeah. They're gonna stick around. I like it.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Let's see.
Chris, you got
Alright.
anything?
Can we expect? Well, obviously, we have the cage now. Can we expect any more types of gimmicky match types going forward in Alabama backyard wrestling?
We're gonna do what we can to entertain y'all, and that's what we always do. And I just gotta leave it at that because we don't
Maybe
really
a
know.
buried alive match would be fun.
Yeah, and we would want to do one, but the thing is, you got to bring in a lot of dirt, and that costs us money.
Mhm.
And we want to do one for everybody, but right now we don't have the money to put on an act like that.
I feel you.
Yeah.
Sure.
Now, this is something that I've been curious about for a while. With you doing this like in-ring stuff and everything, I get. I guess to some extent you gotta keep in shape, to continue doing this. So I've always been curious about like your diet and if you exercise, that good, general stuff.
Well, it just so happens that my job is very physical.
Mm-hmm.
Where I work, and that's pretty much the exercise I get for 6 to 8 hours a day.
Yeah, true.
And then when we're in the ring, it takes a lot of energy to do that stuff.
Yeah. But what about diet? What do you do to what do you eat to recharge said?
Oh,
uh,
I just eat regular standard food. I mean, I'm not gonna sit there and starve myself. That's no.
Yeah, no, not at all. Yeah.
Okay, so Scooter. Another question I have. So one very unique thing about your YouTube is rather than the route of a PO box, which most YouTubers go with, you put out your address. You're very easy to get a hold of.
Yes,
You
I
put
am.
all your information out there.
Yeah, phone number,
You put grandma's stuff out there and whatnot.
Yeah, even grandma stuff is out there, which I think is pretty cool.
Yeah, I was
Champions.
gonna say, is that something you just decided to do? You didn't want to do the PO box, or is this because
No,
this is much more personable?
I didn't want to do the PO box because I don't have time to run down to a post box and see if I got fan mail. I'd rather them just send it to here. If they want to send us fan mail, they can. But then again, like I said, I'm not going to twist anybody's arm and like Grim and them does, to get people to send them stuff. If you want to send us something, fine. If you don't, then I'm not going to lose sleep over it.
Yeah, you've already got stuff too.
Yeah.
from us,
Yeah.
oddly enough.
Yeah, I was gonna say we hope you enjoyed the Mark Henry photo.
Yeah, I did, and I made a video of it, personally thanking y'all, and I'll do that to anybody else that wants to send us fan mail.
When you did the video though, you you listed off the person which and their address. Now that
Yeah.
person wasn't actually us though. It was the person from eBay that we got it from to ship it to you. So not only was it a different person, like it was a username, I think. Can't remember, Contra or some username.
Yeah, it was Contra.
But it was like their
Yeah.
address also. Do you ever worry about that? Like, I mean, I don't know if Grandma even still watches the content. I mean, if you're
No,
watching, hello, Grandma. But
um,
has she like complained about you putting her address? If anyone sent
Yeah,
her
has
stuff?
she gotten
or...
anything? I was gonna say because you put her stuff out there. Has she gotten anything from
Uh,
anybody?
I don't know if she has or not, but she cannot watch our content. I have blocked her on YouTube,
Oh.
so she cannot see nothing that we are doing now.
Oh,
Okay.
I like it, covering all the bases.
are you ever worried that like you might get like a crazy fan who might show up one day? I mean, maybe they'll be crazy to
there.
wrestle instead, but not hurt you. But you ever worry about that, or someone sending like a bag of chocolate dicks or something really crazy?
Chocolate dicks.
Something crazy.
I
about?
mean, they could send it to Grandma, because after that, I don't think anybody likes Grandma, so they'll send anything if they have that.
Yeah, Grandma's the big heel of the whole channel at this point.
Yeah.
I look at Grandma being heel like Grim's wife was being a heel to him, but that's just I'm not gonna lose sleep over a fan coming over here because I have a subscriber right down the road from me, and he watches our videos, and nobody, and I'll go out to eat, at Applebee's, and there's regulars that watch my YouTube videos, and they treat me just like a normal person, and I'm not worried about anybody showing up here or nothing like that. I'm not even at all worried about it.
That's that's a positive way of looking at it.
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah.
The person who lives nearby, have you ever invited them over, even to watch, and to have crowd reaction?
Yeah, a live audience would definitely help.
No, we don't want that because that's a liability. When you got a crowd or people watching, because you don't know what's gonna our videos aren't rehearsed, and I don't want nobody out there and us do something and they get hurt, then they'll be trying to sue us. So I just prefer that we don't have nobody out there during the taping of our videos.
Yeah, and they don't want to get directly involved and wrestle, do they? No.
Yeah, it's just a safety issue, guys. It's you got to think of this stuff when you do it. A lot of people don't realize what all goes into doing these backyard wrestling videos.
Did you ever have a different name for Alabama Backyard Wrestling? Was there anything else, or was it always just AB Dub?
It was always Alabama Backyard Wrestling. And we went with that. Well, YouTube tells you before you create a name to search it, so that way you can see if it's gonna, appeal to the people. And I did Alabama Backyard Wrestling. It just so happens that that worked for us.
Mm-hmm. As we're getting down to the bottom of the barrel here, I have 3 last questions I have not asked yet. I'll go for them, and then Shane and Chris, and then if there's anything you want to ask us before we wrap up here are my final 3 ones. First off, just to recap, state of Grandma. You said you haven't been talking to her at all, and there's no chance in hell. And Vincent Kenny McMahon saying there's no chance in hell she's fired. But would there ever be like a change, if Jacob said, hey, could you talk to Grandma? What do you think it would take for things to smooth over?
The only way I can see things smoothing over between me and her is that she just lets him do Alabama backyard wrestling, and
Yeah.
it's when I wanted him to, and she probably would never agree to that. So I don't see it being very any kind of positive about her
From a
doing that.
from a fan perspective of like her complaints, it seemed like Jacob just getting bruised or something, but he always seemed like he was having fun, laughing. But of course, there's like a teardrop like down everyone's eyes when she says he'd do anything to spend time with you, and that was like her sweet Southern accent into it too, which was nice. So maybe change of heart. Maybe things could change her mind. Who knows what the future holds? Really, it's just a day by day thing. Last two kind of tying together. Is Jacob still grounded? And 2020 return? Do you think he'll return before 2020 for another match, or do you think it'll probably be the new year when we'd even see him again? For those two.
Guys, all I can tell you about that is we never know when Jacob's going to make an arrival. I really don't want to go into details about that because that would be a spoiler. But yeah, whenever he shows up, we put him on there, and I'm hoping that we'll give him one sooner than later again.
Good deal. Shane, anything you can think of?
I don't know why we didn't touch on this during the duration of the podcast, because we said we were going to. Inspirations of in-ring style, obviously, I'm assuming that, you've watched some people on TV and you probably, took their stuff and incorporated with, the stuff that you do in the videos. So what are some of your inspirations and just stuff that you base your stuff on?
Well, the stuff I base most of my stuff on is by wrestlers that are no longer employed with the WWE. They all ran off to Hollywood and started making movies, as you know. And I use some of Stone Cold's, and I mix up. I do John Cena, I do Brock Lesnar, I do Triple H. I try to do stuff that I know people like, and I mix those three up the best I can. And I do some stuff when I can, but it's just really hard, to remember to do them all in a video when you got 800 things running through your mind.
Yeah, it definitely gets chaotic when you're in the ring.
Yeah, it really does. It really does.
Chris, you got anything you can think of?
Just if you were to, is there any chance, have you ever even remotely thought of the idea of maybe, like as you were just saying, there's a lot going through your head the whole time, of scripting any bit of your match? Maybe not the full match, but bits and pieces. Like scripting, like, okay, well, I definitely want to fit this spot in.
No, pretty much I just go out there and we do what we do, and whatever gets in the video gets in the video. We try to, before with the laptop, it wouldn't be an issue, but now we have the phone, and we're going to order a battery for it Monday. So hopefully it'll get here in a few days and we'll be able to go back to regular filming. But for right now, with this phone, we just have to, do what we can that I think everybody would like and appreciate.
Good deal.
Yeah, exactly. Good deal. Do you have any questions for us? Anything on your mind?
No, not really, guys. Not at all.
All right. Well, with that being said, Shane, Chris, my co-host here, Scooter, being the main attraction, thank you all for being here. Everybody, of course. Follow Alabama Backyard Wrestling on YouTube. I have a link down below for you guys. And hopefully with this video, you're at 96 subs right now. Hopefully we'll be going on to crack 100 subs.
I want to say, guys, you will not regret subbing to Alabama Backyard Wrestling. The content is unique and very entertaining.
It's a party every time. You never know what's going to happen.
Exactly. Like that's probably the best description of it. It's an absolute party every time.
Yeah, because we never know what we're gonna do, and like I said, if anybody wants to send us anything, they can. If they want me to autograph something, send it back to them, please. Enclose a stamp so that I can, and you can give them my address if they want to send me fan mail and anything they need autographed. I'll autograph it and I'll send it back to them. But make sure that they include money for a stamp because I can't just be running down to the post
Yeah.
office.
Oh yeah, for sure.
All right, everybody. With that, we will see you all next time. Keep it safe.